the Nike Invincible Run 3 and the Asics Gel Nimbus 26. Two very comfortable max cushion shoes that I own. I like them both, but I sort of wanted to talk about the differences of these two shoes. As you can look at the toe box first, the toe box, these are both men's size 11, and for background, I weighed 192 pounds today. So I wanted to say that about what type of force I might be putting in the midsoles in my workouts. The toe box in the Nike Invincible Run 3, I believe, is a little bit wider, but the Asics Gel Nimbus 26 at the toe box is roomy. I don't have wide feet, but I do like a wider toe box because I don't like my toes to feel squished or smothered, and I like my toes to be able to splay when I'm walking or working out. Even though these are both men's size 11, I find the fit in the Gel Nimbus 26 is to be a little bit slightly longer and a little bit more snug in the Nikes here. Even though these have a little bit longer toe box, what I have noticed is I have a little bit of heel slippage in the Nike Invincible Run 3s where I don't have any heel slippage in the Gel Nimbus 26s. And I think the reason for that being is if you look at the heel collars, the padding in the heel collars, you can see the padding in the heel collar of the Nimbus 26 is pronounced. And I think it locks the heel in more. Or if you look in the Nikes Invincible Run 3s, the padding in the heel collar here, I don't know if you can see that, is at least half amount thinner than in the Asics. So let me show you a little bit of close up. Here's the padding in the heel collar, and this is what I feel locks in your heel. Where in the Nikes, the padding in the heel collar is a lot thinner and less substantial, and I believe that's why I get some heel slippage. What I've done to sort of remedy that, even though I do get some heel slippage, when I tie my shoes, I don't use the runner's knot, but I skip this second to last lace loop and I put it in the very last lace loop, and I got to cinch it down a little bit more, and that minimizes the heel slippage. When I'm walking around or wearing them just all day, I really don't care and don't notice. It's when I do a jog or a run, or I do a high intensity or HIIT type of workout in it. Midsoles, well, let's go outsoles since I got this out. They both have a lot of rubber coverage. I think the Nike has more. Grip-wise, I think the Nike has a little bit more grip. If you look at the width of these shoes on the outsoles, the Nike's width is wider, even on the heel. If you can see the difference here, they're both very stable shoes, with the exception of the Nike feels a little bit wobbly at times, and I think that has to do with the stack of the higher stack in the heel compared to the forefoot, and the bounciness of the Zoom X foam. Nike has Zoom X foam. It's a very comfortable bouncy foam. I do love this foam, the Zoom X. I think it's a great foam. It gives you a little bit of a bounce and bounciness to it every time you step, work out or run in it. Whereas the Nimbus 26 is very comfortable too, but it's not as bouncy. This is more of a plush comfort. Doesn't feel as soft or as bouncy, but it's very comfortable. I can wear these shoes, both of them, all day, work out in them, wear them for 14 hours straight, and that's what I'll do with the shoe. I'll put them on in the morning, 7:30ish, and take them off around 9:30ish. So you got 14 hours of wear plus a workout, and my feet don't hurt at the end of the day. They both feel comfortable. More bounce, less bounce, but still very comfortable, but no heel slippage. I think it's just the padding on the heel collar. More bounce, very comfortable, but you got some heel slippage here, and once again, I think it's just because the padding on here is so thin on the heel counter. What I have noticed, though, between these two shoes, I like wearing them both, and I wear them all day. They're both very comfortable. But what I have noticed is when I do a HIIT type of workout or a high intensity type of workout, and we did one yesterday in the Nike Invincible Run 3s, is that when I do high knees, jumping lunges, or I do burpees, and at the end of the burpees there's a vertical jump, I feel the ground more, even though this is very bouncy foam. But in the forefoot, I feel the ground feel. There's more ground feel compared to the Nimbus 26s. I don't have any ground feel in the forefoot at all. So no ground feel in the forefoot at all, but even though this is a very bouncy midsole, I do feel the ground feel in this midsole, especially when I'm doing high knees and jumping lunges. Even though you wouldn't think so, I mean, the heel, there's plenty of cushioning here with the Sumax. There's more ground feel in the forefoot underneath the ball of my foot compared to these Nimbus 26s. And I went on Run Repeat, where they cut shoes in half and they measure them in the same place against all other shoes. And what I found is that, first off, for the weight, they're both nearly identical. On Run Repeat, they weighed the Asics at 10.7 ounces. They weighed the Nike Invincible 3 at 10 ounces. So not much difference. And on foot, I don't really feel the difference in the weight. Stack height, where they got the drop, for the drop of the shoe from heel to toe, they got a 9.6 millimeter drop in the Nike compared to an 8.4 millimeter drop in the Asics. And I can feel the difference in the drop. There's more of a drop here. The heel you feel higher up in the heel compared to your forefoot, compared to the Asics. For the heel, they got a 35.2 millimeters in the Nike compared to 25.6 millimeters in the forefoot. And I'm reading this off of the Run Repeat stats here. In the Asics, they got a 40.4 millimeter heel to 32 millimeter in the forefoot. So when you look at the forefoot, where I'm feeling the difference in the forefoot when I'm doing high intensity type workouts like high knees and jumping lunges, stuff like that, where I'm feeling the difference in the forefoot and the heel, there's plenty of padding in both heels. But where I'm feeling there's less padding, even though it's bouncier in the Nike, but less padding in the forefoot, is that according to Run Repeat, where they cut the shoes in half and actually measure the padding in the forefoot, and the forefoot's about right here. In the lab of the forefoot, they got 32 millimeters of stack height in the forefoot of the Asics Gel Nimbus 26. So 32 millimeters versus 25.6 millimeters in the forefoot of the Nike. So if you look at this, look at the forefoot here, the stack height, the forefoot in the Gel Nimbus 26 and the forefoot is 32 millimeters versus 25.6 millimeters. That is a difference of 6.4 millimeters. And here's the printout. I printed it out. But it's a difference of 6.4 millimeters in the forefoot. So the Asics forefoot has 6.4 millimeters greater stack height versus the Nike. And that's about a 1/4 inch. And what I did on a roller here is I tried to measure out a 1/4 inch. So I think the reason why I'm feeling a little bit more ground feel on the Nike Invincible Run 3 compared to the Asics Gel Nimbus 26, where I don't feel any ground feel in the forefoot, is there's about a 1/4 inch or 6 millimeter stack height difference in the amount of foam. So great shoe, love to wear it all day, very comfortable, not really bouncy at all, but it's just very like luxurious plush comfort, where you have a little bit more bouncy comfort, but a little bit less stack height, a 1/4 inch less stack height in the forefoot, where I think a shoe really needs more foam, because in the heel there's plenty. On both shoes you cannot feel the ground at all in the heel. I think it's overkill in the heel. I wish they would have went ahead and taken 6 millimeters off the heel and throw that 6 millimeters of extra stack height in the forefoot, and then you would have had a perfect shoe. Look wise, I mean, looks are really subjective. Some people like a little bit more of a conservative look. I generally do, but I honestly think the Nikes look like a better looking shoe. So, you know, I don't care about looks too much, but if I was going to say which shoe looks better, I think these Nikes are, I think Nikes does well in making good looking shoes, where the Nimbus is a little bit more conservative, but really like these Nikes for the look. Either way, I like both of these shoes. They feel very good. I just wish Nike would have put a little bit more stack height in the forefoot, because you have a higher drop. And like I said, I can feel the difference when I'm doing especially high knees and jumping lunges. I can feel the difference in the forefoot, where I get ground fill in the Nike Run Invincible 3s, where I don't get any ground fill in my forefoot. With the Asics Gel Nimbus 26s. Which shoe would I choose if I could only have one of these two shoes to wear for the rest of my life and for what I do? That's really tough. I like the overall cushion of the Asics Gel Nimbus 26 quite a bit, but you know, I think I prefer the bounciness of the Sumex foam over the FF Blast Plus foam that Asics uses on the Gel Nimbus 26. So either way, you can't go wrong. What I would suggest for a lot of people is, if you want to try one of these shoes and you're not sure about them, I would go on eBay and try to find a pair of these shoes that are in really good condition, and you're going to be able to get them for at least 50% off what you'd pay brand new to try them out, or even 1/3 the price. If you can get them for 1/3 the price, example, if you can get this Invincible Run 3 in good condition for $50, I'd go ahead and buy it and try it. And same thing with the Asics Gel Nimbus 26s. So my thoughts on these two shoes, if you're considering either, you can't go wrong with either shoe. But I wanted to highlight the differences. So hope that helped out, and I hope you all have a good holiday season, a Merry Christmas, and a good New Year, and actually a great New Year ahead. So take care. Thank you. Bye.